Are you living life on hard mode? Give and Take by Adam Grant talks about givers, matchers, and takers. Which one are you? Takers are those who prioritize their own interests and take more than they give. The book uses Ken Lay as a prime example of a taker. Ken is best remembered as the primary person involved in the Enron scandal. Ken is known as a faker, which is a taker disguised as a giver. Ken was charming when mingling with powerful people, but many of his peers and subordinates saw through it. Takers generally want to be admired by influential, powerful superiors, so they become convincing fakers. Takers tend to be dominant with their subordinates, but deferential and submissive towards their superiors. A great sign that Lay was a taker is that he was obsessed with making a good impression upward, but worried less about how he was seen by those below him. Which reminds me of the quote by Samuel Johnson: "The true measure of a man is how he treats someone who can do him absolutely no good." In the case of Ken, he often recruited employees to pretend to be busy traders. They made imaginary phone calls. Lay was hoping to wow the analysts that were auditing him with the image of productive energy and trading business. The way takers build networks is generally by kissing up and kicking down. But the problem with always kicking down is that over time you have kicked down everyone around you, and you now have a network of people that would love to kick you down. The reason for this is that most people are matchers, so their core values emphasize fairness, equality, and reciprocity. Matchers are those who try to balance giving and taking. We're generally givers with those who are close to us, but professionally, few of us act purely like givers or takers. We become matchers. We're trying to keep an equal balance of giving and getting. Matchers operate on the principle of fairness. When they help others, they protect themselves by seeking reciprocity. If you're a matcher, you believe in tit for tat, and your relationships are governed by an even exchange of favors. Most of your interactions, by definition, are transactional. Givers are those who prioritize helping others and give more than they take. One of my favorite quotes from the book: "Success depends heavily on how we approach our interactions with other people. Every time we interact with another person, we have a choice to make. Do we try to claim as much value as we can, or contribute value without worrying about what we receive in return?" If I asked you to guess who's the most likely to end up at the bottom of the success ladder, who would you guess? Takers? Givers? Matchers? Pause the video and think about it. If you guessed givers, then you would be correct. I'll spare you the details of the studies, but across occupations, it appeared that givers were too caring, too trusting, and too willing to sacrifice their own interests for the benefit of others. Now you might think takers would be at the top with matchers in between. Actually, it's givers that are both at the bottom and the top of the success ladder. Once again, across numerous occupations, the highest performers also happen to be some of the biggest givers at their organizations. Matchers and takers are much more likely to end up in the middle. To be very clear, givers, takers, and matchers all do achieve success, but the distinctive thing that happens when givers succeed is that it spreads and cascades. When takers win, there's usually someone else who loses. Givers succeed in a way that creates a ripple effect, enhancing the success of people around them. That brings me to my next point. The further you advance on the success ladder, the more your success depends on teamwork and service. Takers might win in some roles where performance is only about individual results, but givers will thrive in interdependent roles where collaboration matters. And whether it's work, school, or entrepreneurship, the places where collaboration with others isn't necessary are far and few. This makes me think of one of my favorite highlights from the book, a quote by venture capitalist Randy Kamazar: "It's easier to win if everybody wants you to win." Another one of my favorite tips from the book: when we give our time, energy, knowledge, or resources to help others, we strive to maintain a belief that they're worthy and deserving of our help. Seeking advice is a subtle way to invite someone to make a commitment to us. When we ask people for advice, we grant them prestige, showing that we respect and admire their insights and expertise. Since most people are matchers, they tend to respond favorably and feel motivated to support us. Everyone should read this book. It's easy to read. I can tell you from personal experience that following the advice of this book will change your life for the better. I used to be a matcher and I didn't even know it. Now I try to incorporate giving into every facet of my life, and life just continues to get better. The part that really did it for me was that when I thought about my own friend circle and thought of who were the most successful people, these same people were also the biggest givers. It was especially fascinating to see these friends interact with their own friends because everyone around the givers wanted the giver to win. Once again, it's easier to win if everybody wants you to win.